Schneider. Damn, but chat is.
If you grew up during the 90s,
I don't know if does this make good vids? Like if it's about a topic, like it'll hit or no. Let me turn my light off.
or the early 2000s, there's an extremely high chance that you watch some of Dan Schneider's shows. It was like impossible to avoid him. It'd be like
which one was his best show, y'all think, chat?
Thunderstorm. Dan Schneider
Thank you for the prime, bro.
Was the king of children's television programs. He made some of the most influential productions like Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, iCarly. His resume is just...
I'm gonna go 1.5. Oh God, I'm gonna be real. Oh no, I have a bad attention span. Never mind. My favorite was Drake and Josh, easily by a mile, bro.
Stacked with tons of shows that I imagine meant a lot to many of you growing up. And make no mistake, you meant a lot to the creator of these shows as well. Well, not so much you, but your feet certainly did. The creator of these shows is a monstrous foot fetishist, Dan Get in the Van Schneider. He is a vile, creepy, disgusting human being, and this has been known for years. However, a new docu-series just dropped really diving into this subject matter and putting a spotlight on it in a way that hasn't previously been explored. It's called Quiet on Set. Now, if you don't know what Dan looks like, here's a nice...
Ew! Ew, bro! Ew, bro! God damn, bro! You could tell this chat. Say, oh God, you can't tell this pedo, bro. You could literally tell he like kids, bro.
Picture of him here. He looks like he was made in the Dragon's Dogma 2 character creator. And Dan Schneider has become the face of Quiet on Set. However, it actually explores more than that. It's like a whole deep look at all of the horrible things that were going on during these Nickelodeon productions. It's more than just Dan, but he obviously plays a central role here.
Dude, Chad, I got scared when I seen LeBron behind me.
He was the head honcho of most of this. And he was well aware of some of these terrible and downright criminal things that were going on behind the scenes on some of these shows.
Did he actually touch any of them, though?
I mentioned the foot fetishism off rip here is because that was one of the first things that people really caught on to in the public eye.
No.
After Dan's glory days at Nickelodeon, people started to pick up on how odd it was that a lot of these children's shows had an emphasis on feet. Pretty frequently, it was a common thread throughout a lot of these shows. Like,
stop! Stop, bro. I could focus. What's wrong with me, bro? Stop, bro. Stop.
Feet humor and having these child actors and actresses
bro. I could do
displaying
this. I could do
their
this,
feet.
bro. I could do this.
And in 2013, one of the shows Dan worked on, Sam and Cat, actually ran...
Oh, I remember showing y'all this. Right on the bottom of your foot, take a feet pic and use this hashtag. We'll retweet it and follow you. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. If anyone did this, you are out of your... Why are you writing on your feet and sending a picture to this on Twitter, bro? You are tripping. Like, what? And yo, by the way, Sam and Cat was an absolutely dog show. That shit was dookie butter.
And a competition
oh
where
my
kids
God, that shit
were
was
supposed to submit pictures of their feet to them.
You could tell that shit was a money grab,
weird.
bro.
No matter how you spin it, that's a really weird thing to request from your audience of children, to take pictures of their feet for you. That's just downright creepy and wrong. I can't believe that tweet is still up, by the way, over a decade later, and no one thought to delete that. That is impressive. But anyway, people started to pick up on Dan's...
You like Malcolm in the Middle? That is top 3 childhood TV shows of all time, on God.
Fixation with stompers, and it seemed like his fetish was bleeding into his work, and he was having the children unknowingly participate in it by having them display their feet. That's what it seemed to a lot of people, so it was obviously very concerning, so people did more and more digging. They found more and more evidence of Dan being an awful piece of shit behind the scenes with a lot of shady things going on there.
Bro.
And it just led to
how did their parents let this happen,
people for years have known that Dan blows loads to toes Schneider is not a good person. And now, Quiet on the Set has released, and so much information has come out, not just about Dan, but about that entire Nickelodeon.
He wasn't the only pedo?
Child stars. Arguably, the largest piece of new information that dropped during this docuseries was the sexual abuse of Drake Bell by someone named Brian Peck.
Isn't that the Josh nigga dad? Yo, okay, so they touched Brody, right? I don't know if I'm tripping. Didn't he touch somebody, bro? Am I confused? Didn't he touch somebody? It was false? Oh, shit. Damn.
So, Brian Peck was a coach at Nickelodeon whom was sexually abusing Drake Bell, and he was actually convicted in 2004. He spent 16 months in the slammer, and then immediately upon release, landed a job with Disney.
The nigga got fired for touching a kid, went to jail, and then got another job on a kid's show? What the fuck? Hello? Bro, what?
If that doesn't show just how rotten to the core this industry is, I don't know what will. There is deep-seated evil in Hollywood. He went to jail for lewd acts with a minor. He is a sex offender, a convicted sex offender, and he immediately got a Disney Channel job working on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? What the fuck?
Not to touch Zack and Cody!
That's mind-bogglingly
hell no!
Evil. Like,
hell no!
That's not just irresponsible, that's malicious. Bro. It's not like they just made some kind of mistake where they put a sex offender in a role where he works almost exclusively with children.
That's
like,
so
it's
weird,
not like they
though.
made a whoops-a-daisy, they just happened to overlook that he's a sex offender. They knew. They would have to know, and they still hired him for that role.
Don't you have to, like, knock on doors when you're a sex offender, Chad?
They're actively enabling a fucking sex offender to potentially prey on more children. Drake
Has someone ever came to y'all's house and told y'all they were a sex offender? That's never happened to me, bro.
Also described that when he went into court, Brian Peck had the support of some very powerful and familiar faces. There were 41 character letters written to the judge asking for leniency for Brian Peck.
He had those lawyers. If you know, you know.
41 letters of support
lawyers,
from industry personnel that were trying to get a lighter sentence for Brian Peck, even knowing that he is guilty of the crimes for which he is about to face the punishment. Asking for a more generous sentence.
Chat, really, bro? Yo, what is wrong with y'all? Like, on God. Yeah, y'all are weird as fuck. What the fuck? Oh, hell
These
no.
weren't just 41 pieces of toilet paper with nonsensical scribblings on it from nobodies. These were 41 character letters that were submitted by industry personnel, some of whom were high up on the food chain.
Who do y'all think is a celebrity that's actually a pedo and we don't know?
Advocating for someone who is guilty of sexually abusing a child. Holy shit.
Bro.
They just viewed it as not a big deal, I guess. Listen, Judge, I understand Brian Peck diddled a child. Who at Nickelodeon hasn't? Are you...
Nah, they didn't all do it. Yo, you know who's my goat? I know he ain't touched no kids. This my goat, man. Yo, I know this nigga ain't touched no kids, man. This my goat right here, bro. I know my nigga ain't touched no fucking kids. I know for a fact, bro. Shout out my nigga Spencer, man. I know he ain't touched... He got exposed? Shut up. Huh? I ain't gonna lie, I'm 1.25 in this bitch, though. I ain't gonna lie. Because I thought he was gonna be, like, showing clips or something. Nigga just talking.
Are you really gonna throw him away or put him away and throw away the key for that? What about season 3 of Drake and Josh? What actually matters here? Let's think about that. Like, this is crazy to me. It almost stops being surprising learning that Brian Peck landed a job at Disney right after his 16 months in prison for this crime, because it seems like that entire industry just does not give a fuck about the safety of kids to begin with. So like I said, quite on
would y'all ever let y'all kid be an actor?
And all of the awful things that he has done. Bro. It's about how awful that entire industry itself is. But once again, Dan Schneider does still play a large role in this docu-series, highlighting the bad workplace and environment that he would cultivate, the weird shit that would go on in like the writer's room and the way he'd treat some people, just a whole plethora of different bad stuff. And in response to all of this, Dan Schneider himself actually stepped out from the shadows, leaving his little gopher's hidey hole and addressing it head on.
He addressed it?
The most painfully scripted and staged apology video interviews I've ever seen.
Hey, it's Boogie. I play Tebow and
Nickelodeon. Tebow? Ain't this the nigga that used to put tacos on sticks and shit? What the fuck? Wait.
Nickelodeon's iCarly. I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes. Dan, how are you?
I'm okay.
How did he look like more of a pedophile now? That's an accomplishment because he was already level 10. How did you exceed that? How did he exceed that shit? What the fuck? God damn.
Okay.
The interview is not conducted by a professional. It's conducted by a former actor in one of Dan Schneider's shows. And
wait, that means Tebow is on that nigga's side? No. Tebow's on that nigga's side? Fuck. No? Oh, okay.
Equipped to handle something like this. This is the biggest load of baloney. Like, this is just some straight up fucking malarkey. There is no pushback from Boogie on anything in this interview at all. It's just strategic softballs designed to give Dan Schneider some kind of sympathetic PR win here, where he comes out of this looking better, where he comes out of this like, nah.
Does that Dan Schneider nigga really have enough money to like just be chilling for life?
Like,
you think he made that much?
I think it is extremely transparent what this is, and I'm happy to say pretty much everyone saw straight.
God, what's his net worth, bro? Even though that shit is not accurate, but 40 mil? 40 mil? 40 mil? What the fuck? Yo, Size, what's up, bro? 40 million? Did you see the shape of his pool? No? What was his pool? Nigga. Check his mansion. Yo, I swear to God, if he got an amusement park in the backyard like he Michael Jackson, I'm about to get tight. What his mansion even look like? Yo, tell me this don't look like the type of mansion you see in a scary movie. This do not look like a normal mansion, bro. This look like the type of one you see in a scary movie, bro. This don't even look like a normal one, bro. Man. Fuck. This dude's a freak.
Through this did not give Dan Schneider the dunk I think he was expecting it to. This did not make him look any better in the public's eye. It actually just made it look even more sinister that he was able to, it seems, pre-prepare this interview to mitigate the potential fallout from the docu-series airing.
Let's talk about the massages. Okay. Watching the content yesterday.
Whoa, massage? What? Hold on. What massage? He made the kids giving massages?
It was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever, period, the end, no excuses.
It starts with what's...
Dude, you can't just apologize though, bruh. That don't make no sense, bro. You can't just apologize, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, huh?
Supposed to be this moment of taking accountability. Dan Schneider is just point blank apologizing and, holding himself accountable for the sins of the past type vibe.
Like, what?
Except he's really not. Like, these aren't things that you just, hand wave away with, a simple apology. A lot of what was reported is, unforgivable bad shit. Like, there's really no way of apologizing for the things that Dan Schneider...
Yusuf 7 streamed for 19 hours in the last 7 days, averaging 2,036 viewers. On Tuesdays, Yusuf sometimes streams for 5 hours between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. PDT. What's bad about that? Is that supposed to be bad? Like, what? Is that supposed to be bad? What's bad about that?
Has done and also been accused of. So it's just, it feels so fucking insincere. And Dan Schneider got away with it, and it seems will continue to get away with it. So he loses nothing by doing something like this, which just makes it frustrating to see him parade around pretending like he cares now all of a sudden. Like, it's extremely easy for him to just be like, oh yeah, that was bad.
Chat, who's worse, Dan Schneider or Diddy?
Not good. Like, it's just, I would have liked if the interviewer was someone that would legitimately dive into a lot of these things and actually press him on a lot of these things. This interview never even addresses the things that people want to hear from Dan on, such as the sexualization of the children in those shows. Even outside of all the foot stuff, Dan included some very inappropriate things in his programs, such as Ariana Grande milking a potato, and then another scene with her getting splashed with water and shit. All of it was very unacceptable and seems to sexualize the child actors and actresses in his productions.
Dude, I remember though, chat, it's low-key weird when you go back and watch. They used to do a lot of feet stuff, bro. A lot of feet stuff, bro. They would paint faces on their toes and wiggle their toes around it. That shit was weird, bro.
It was never even brought up in this interview. So this interview it doesn't have any real substance to it. It is legitimately just a scripted PR play.
I'm not looking at that poll, bro.
I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am. Yeah. So if there's anything that needs to be cut because it's upsetting.
Thank you for the sub.
17 months, bro.
Oh my God, Chad, that's my uncle with the 17 months. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, 5 gifted or you don't love me. Real shit, bro. Thank you for the 5 months,
Watch
AJ.
the Tommy G vid after this and W 5 months and T Nichols worst.
I'm not gonna lie, 5 gifted or you don't love me, bro.
For you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do is put any content in a show that's going to upset my audience and make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I ever want to do that?
That makes sense.
This is him addressing a question that Boogie asked about, like, inappropriate jokes in there without getting...
Do y'all think y'all's parents notice the weird jokes in the shows?
And people look at them as inappropriate for a child audience. How do you respond?
Yo! Thank you so much for the 5 gifted, man. I really appreciate that, bro. Thank you so much. I hope you had an amazing day, Unc. Love you, man. Love you, man.
The most softball way of asking this question, mind you, and his response was, cut it. Just get rid of it. I don't want it in the show. If it's aged bad and it makes people uncomfortable or, you know, this and that, cut it. And Boogie's like patting him on the back for it, like, oh my goodness, wow. That's so
Oh, and
benevolent.
gifted or you don't love me. I'm just playing. Let me finish this bit. My bad. I'm sorry. Just kidding.
What a great solution. Yeah, that makes sense. What the fuck? It's so easy for him to say that now, but it doesn't take away the fact that you filmed it. If you cut Ariana Grande milking a potato type shit, if you cut some of the foot stuff...
But Chad, was that shit, that Ariana Grande shit even in the show?
Doing that shit,
I don't think it was.
It still happened. That's still bad. Cutting it from the final product doesn't erase what you did.
I'm about to sniff my balls.
It's so frustrating that there's no pushback on any of this in the interview. He just gets to let him say his piece and then get applause for it. It's so stupid.
And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who he was. And
Dan got 2 little girls pregnant? No, he did not, bro. Say on God. Say on God. What?
Asking for leniency, and they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree, and they still did this. But Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time, and she said, would you help me with my speech with the judge? And I said, of course, and I did.
Dan Schneider's fishing for the Nickelodeon's Kid Choice Award for the best fake crying. It feels super forced and super insincere.
Yo, niggas started crying out of nowhere, bro.
Story. This is him talking about the Drake and Brian Peck case, where he mentions 41 people wrote those letters and it baffled him. And then Drake's mom actually asked him to help her write her piece, which he did. And that leads me to a question of, if you knew all this, why didn't you back up Drake Bell? The way it's described, Brian Peck had all of these people in his corner, but Drake really only had his...
Was that Brian Peck? Is that somebody I should know, or is it just a random? Is that someone I should know?
Mom and his brother. Why weren't you more involved then? Like, I imagine that could have been extraordinarily helpful. But regardless, this interview doesn't do anything to change my perception of Dan Schneider, or anyone else's, really, I imagine, because it's still nothing. This isn't really an interview. It's just a PR piece.
SpongeBob tried to warn us about Dirty Dan. It's a weak-ass comment. Nah, that was corny as fuck. What the fuck? All right, yo. About a weak-ass fucking comment. Hold on. I think something came out.